Thank you for listening to Pal Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Power Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the Enlightened Insider, Eddie B. Joining me is the Indie Insider himself, Mr. Dan Murphy.
How we doing?
Boss Man, the one, the only, Mr. Corey Deering.
Hello, hope everybody enjoyed their holiday weekend if you had one. If not, happy, weekend, I guess.
And our special guest, the sensational and sophisticated Miss Stephanie Kimball. Hello.
Thank you for having me on. Happy to be here.
Yes.
Stephanie's pulling it. I'm podcasting every night, so don't bother me week.
Stop it. I totally wasn't complaining about it before we started.
I know.
We need our Pokemon finger paint.
Yes,
nail paint.
the nail polish, yeah.
Nail polish.
Finger paints.
Finger paint.
Yeah.
You're
While
a
I'm
mess
doing
head.
this. Oh, goodness. How was everybody's weekend? Stephanie, how was your weekend?
You know what? It was all right. We celebrated Easter, so my son got to do Easter egg hunt, and the Easter Bunny was very good to him because now that he's gotten into Pokemon, he got some Pokemon cards and stuff like that. So, which as a side note, can I just make an old person complaint? Back in my day, when we collected Pokemon cards, you weren't always guaranteed a holographic card. Now I'm told that every pack comes with a holographic card. I feel like it's the participation trophy of Pokemon now. Like, what's going on?
Well,
Yeah.
is there a higher rank than holographs now?
I think not really, but like it still has like the circle, diamond, and star. So you can get a holograph of like a very common Pokemon, so it's still worthless. But they just probably make it holographic so the kids like think it's valuable, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Shiny
So-
things are exciting, everybody.
Exactly. But if it's one in every pack, dude, they make trainer cards like holographic. That's stupid. Anyway,
Sweet.
got off topic.
Holographic Ash Ketchum.
Yeah. So Easter was good. I ate too much, went to a food coma yesterday, and I regret it today. That was my weekend.
Okay. Corey, how was your weekend?
Minus the Pokemon cards, that sounds about exactly like my weekend. We went to my mother-in-law's for Passover on Saturday. And then yesterday, Sunday, we went to my mom's for Easter. And I got this little guy. This King
King Dedede.
Yep,
Yeah.
He's the best. So
Nice.
now he's going to sit right here on my desk because I already have the other one from Kirby Star Allies on my shelf. And now I have two DDDs, and now it's breaking my brain because I don't like having two of things. But I like this DDD better, but I don't know what to do. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll take one of them to work and put it on my work desk.
Oh, yes.
DDD's my Smash main. I don't like Kirby at all, but I love King DDD. Just because he's a ridiculous character. He's a fat blue penguin with a hammer. Come on,
Hammer?
it's hilarious. He's dressed like Santa. So.
Wow.
I really liked his appearance in Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
Did you? Was he cool? Was he fun?
He was awesome.
Yeah,
I would say this is my favorite DDD.
He's always awesome.
Yeah. Well, Dan, how was your weekend?
I didn't do much in the realm of Easter. So, when you don't have kids and your family doesn't live near you, you kind of forget that it exists.
It's fair.
So we had a couple of friends that came down from New York and they were staying in Baltimore for the weekend. So we went up on Saturday and just kind of hung out, went to a Orioles game and went out to a couple of restaurants. So, yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Who'd they play?
Yankees.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did they lose?
No, they actually won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just assume the Yankees are still in that we're going to pay all the good players to come play for us and nobody can stop us mentality.
They very much are. But Yeah, I don't know. The Orioles suck, and they just like beat them all the time. I don't know how they do it, but good for them.
I hear the Cleveland Guardians are good this year. That new team here in Cleveland.
Oh,
What an awful name.
yeah.
It makes sense if you live in Cleveland, but nowhere else.
Does it?
Yeah, sort of.
Because they guard Cleveland from a championship
Yeah.
for the last like
Oh!
70 years.
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
He's not wrong. It's fine.
Wow.
Well, then it's fitting, as awful of a name as it is.
No, on one of the buildings when you enter the city, they have like the baseball with the wings on it. They have these giant statues and they have the wings on their helmets, and so they're called the Guardians of Cleveland. So
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah, it's still dumb, but it makes sense. It unlike the Browns, right? Oh, let's name ourselves after the first coach of the team because we couldn't think of a name. I love the Browns, but they're making some really interesting decisions that I don't want to go into on this podcast. So,
My weekend, because this is just me working.
yeah, Ed, how's your weekend?
Yeah.
I just worked most of it. Was moving a lot of Easter candy. It was going out. People were actually shopping for Easter candy and was like upset and disappointed because we didn't barely have anything. I'm like, why would you be buying this stuff on the day of Easter? You knew that this was coming along, so now you wait the day of Easter trying to find something, and all you got stuck with is some SpongeBob gummies and some Reese's Pieces candy. Like, I'm sorry, you weren't here when we had all of this stuff on sale. You could have had your basket good and ready to go. You wait till the last minute. But pretty much that's all I really did was like work and kind of play video games. I didn't really get to do much because my work week has been hectic. I can say that for sure. But I will say that I did get something on Saturday, so I'll talk about that in Snacktendo.
Yay.
So I'm excited for that. And I kind of made a tweet yesterday since I was giving words last power block, I would say. So we will get into that for Snacktendo also.
I saw. Good for you, Ed. Good for you. Making the right choices.
But
Terrible.
we're gonna get into our contest. Corey, can you let the people know about it?
Yes, I can, Ed. Sorry, I muted myself. It's fine. We're giving away a digital copy of Nintendo Switch Sports next week, guys. It's almost here. It is next Friday. Less than 2 weeks. We are 11 days out. We are giving away a digital code for Nintendo Switch Sports. All you have to do is follow Powblock Podcast on Twitter. Check the pinned tweet. You need to follow, like, and retweet the pinned tweet. It's a little Switch logo with a little Wi-Fi thing going on out. So all you have to do is like and retweet that, and you will be entered into the giveaway. We will be giving away the game next Monday on our live show. We will announce the winner, so you'll want to be there for that.
And Corey, we also got some shout outs to give to our Patreon producers.
Yes, Patreon. Patreon.com/Boss Network if you want to support Nintendo Powblock and our family of shows, including getting Expansion Pass a week early on Sundays and 3 other shows. For $1, you can get our shows early. But if you subscribe at the producer tier at $5, you will be listed in our shout out to our producers section, which is this one right here. So as of April 18th, 2022, our $5 producers are Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, and my wife, Sonatine. So thank you to our $5 tier subscribers. We cannot do this without you. We appreciate your support, and thank you so much.
Yes. Well, everybody, it's time for Snacktendo. Dan, what have you been snacking on?
Came to me first.
Yes.
I've been really lame with the snacking lately. I mean, I guess I went to the game and had a hot dog, so.
Oh my god, did you?
Ah.
Okay, so are you a brown mustard guy or a regular mustard guy?
Brown mustard all the way.
Good choice.
What the
Dan.
heck is brown mustard?
Oh my gosh.
It's the one that's not made for kids.
Yeah, Ed, it's the good mustard. You can get spicy brown or you can get stadium brown, and it doesn't matter which
I've
one you
never
get. They are
had-
both good.
I've
Okay,
never had it. I've never seen it.
Ed, you
What
work
are you
at
talking about? You've never seen it.
you
That's
work
craziness.
at Walgreens. Go down the aisle where the mustard is.
We don't have it at Walgreens.
What?
We don't have brown mustard.
You have to.
That's
I don't believe
questionable.
No, we do not have it.
Then go to what's the grocery store in Chicago? Is it like Safeway? Is it Giant Eagle, Kroger, something? Meijer?
Jewel, Kroger.
I don't know. Yeah,
All
go there.
those whatever grocery store you name, it's there.
Yeah, I recommend
I
spicy brown because I like spicy brown, but stadium brown is also acceptable.
No, spicy brown is the way to go.
Yeah,
Every time I go to a grocery store, I don't see it, so I might have to go to the one in Kenosha.
Hmm.
No, you
how do you-
don't.
you
It's
don't have-
sold
I
at
swear.
every grocery
Every
store.
grocery store.
It's
You don't
probably
have to go to
it's
it's
Kenosha.
probably at your gas station where your closest gas station also.
The gas station have it
You
either.
absolutely do not need to drive 35 minutes to get spicy.
They
brown.
don't. I'm telling you. I'm literally telling you, Dan. Every grocery store that we have here in Illinois do not have brown mustard. They do not have it.
Yes, they do.
They do
I
not.
will bet you everything in my bank account that they have spicy brown mustard at the
If they-
grocery
I'm very
store.
they
jealous
have-
that Dan
if they-
got a stadium hot dog with spicy brown mustard. I'm very jealous because
So yeah,
brown mustard's delicious.
yeah, I've never had it. Maybe I have to go to Kenosha to go find it because nowhere in Illinois have it.
That's the biggest heap of crap I've ever heard. I'm gonna
I'm
look
telling
up
the truth.
Jules.
You're telling me that the Chicago White Sox what stadium's there now? Is it still Wrigley Field? It's still Wrigley Field, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why like
but they
go
do
there,
Chicago
buy
style.
a ticket
They
to
do
the baseball
but
game.
they all
and go.
do Chicago. They all do Chicago style hot dogs, and it's always yellow mustard. They don't never do brown or any other kind of mustard.
This is almost worse than the pizza discussion we had last week.
Oh
You
my,
know,
that one was painful.
I bet you, Stephanie, you was cracking up when you heard
Oh,
that.
I was running too, so I'm like out of breath and like gasping and laughing, like almost rolling off the side of the road.
All right, I'm cutting off the brown mustard argument here.
Hold on.
It's a
No, you're not. No, you're not. Because I'm on Jules, Osco Jewel, which is all over Illinois, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different brown mustards at your local Jewel in North Chicago.
There's no Jewel in North Chicago.
Great.
North Ashland Ave.
That's all in Chicago. That's not in my area. That's why I'm saying that anywhere that in the other grocery stores.
What's the name of the grocery store you go to? I'm gonna do this.
So the one that I go to in Kenosha is called Woodman's.
No. The one that you go to near you.
Is I have to go out 30 minutes. So the closest to me is Jewel.
Yeah,
So that would be
it's
in
all at
Gurney-
Jewel.
Right, and that would be in Gurney, Illinois. I don't live in Chicago. So when
Why
you was
do you-
looking up Ashland,
You just told me there was no spicy brown mustard in the entire state. And now
Right.
I'm telling you that it's at every Jewel, which is in the state. So now
So it may be in their city, but it's not. But I swear I have not seen it.
I love Grayson's response. He says, "Ed, please don't drive to Kenosha for brown mustard." he says, but Ed is right. Chicago dogs only use regular mustard, and they're delicious. Fine. Look, regular mustard is fine, but if you ever have spicy brown mustard, it's the best. It's the best.
That's what I said. I'll have to find it because my area doesn't carry it.
Also, for some reason, I'm a big fan of Wahlburger sauce, which I don't really know what's in it, but it's the sauce they use at Wahlburgers, and I've never eaten there, but they sell it at Aldi, so.
I gotta text you, Grayson, because I might be in the city Wednesday morning.
Anyways.
Well, I'm gonna go next.
Oh,
because,
great.
I had Domino's, everybody.
Yes!
I had
Playing for
a
the home
sausage.
team.
I had a sausage and Black Olives
what?
handmade
Oh,
pan.
why the black olives?
Oh, Ed.
Ed,
Because I love
killing
black
us.
olives. I love black olives. You guys would not give me shade this time. No. Hershey.
Although I'm the worst
Thank you.
person to ask about pizza because the only thing I like on my Domino's pizza is like double pepperoni or like ham and pepperoni.
I always get extra cheese too.
I never get extra cheese. I don't know why. And it's not because of paying it. I guess I just be like, man, I think it's the kind of like really cheesy when I get my pizzas. So I think, yeah, I don't need it. So, but I did also get a cinnamon bun, from the Cinnabon place. That was so good. It was hot. It was literally fresh. I ate it in my car with happiness and everything. I'm like, ooh, this is so good. I didn't get extra sauce though, because I usually sometimes the extra sauce or cream or whatever it is, I sometimes eat it out the cup itself.
Oh, gross. I always get light sauce on my pizza.
I'm talking about the Cinnabon.
I know you are, but I'm talking about sauce on pizza now. We're going back to the
Oh.
pizza now, Ed. Cinnabon. No, you always get extra icing and sauce.
Yeah.
Like you always get extra, right? It's just, you know.
Wait, I got confused. There's a Cinnabon pizza. I had to step away.
Actually, when I worked at Domino's, there was a Cinnabon pizza.
My sister actually made one when she worked at Pizza Hut back in the 80s.
Let me tell you about this Cinnabon pizza. It was like instead of sauce, it was the icing. It was the icing, and then you topped it with brown sugar and cinnamon and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And then you ran it through the oven, and then we could put some chocolate chips on it or whatever you want to put on it. It was delicious.
Do you guys ever try the Cinna sticks at Domino's?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
they're
good.
good. They're good.
When I worked there, when I was a wee lad, we were one of the first stores in the country to have them. It was cool.
Nice.
And then we ate them all.
Yeah.
We never sold them. We just ate them all.
I eat a lot of them from Pizza Hut when I get them. Like, ooh, this is so good. So I had that, but I also had the new M&M's crunchy cookie flavor. And this one is kind of for I think it's a special one that's only at Walgreens at this time. It's one of their new flavors. And instead of the Keep It Else cookies with M&M's in it, it's vice versa. So it's M&M's with the Keep It Elf cookie in it. So, but it tastes kind of like, it does taste like the cookie. I will say that, but it tastes like the crispy version of the M&M's a little bit. But the flavor is just like, if you know the Keep It Elf M&M cookies, then you can understand, like, kind of taste the difference. But they were really good, so they're not bad. If I would say if you can't find the crispy ones, crispy M&Ms, and they have those there, they're a great replacement. So, pretty much I say go for that. But that's kind of what I've been snacking on. Stephanie, what have you been snacking on?
All right. So my kind of showcase candy of Easter was the lemon crisp Kit Kat.
Yes.
It is so good. Like
So good.
I don't want to associate Kit Kats with anything other than like a chocolate based, I don't know, not like a fruity flavor, but I don't know, it just caught my eye and I was feeling springy and I had to fill out some Easter baskets. So I opened it and took half for myself and I really loved it. It actually was very, very good. Not something I can like eat half a bag like I can with a typical Kit Kat, but you know, I think Kit Kat does a really good job with all their side flavors. That includes lemon crisp, so I highly recommend that.
That strawberry dark chocolate is so good.
That's hard to beat.
Well, the mint one and that strawberry one, they go back and forth. It's just like, ooh, this anointings right here.
I think the only Kit Kat flavor that I just couldn't do when I was in Japan, I got like cool flavors. It was like a sake flavor.
Ooh.
No. I like sake and I like Kit Kats, but together that's a hard one to pull off. I appreciate them trying, but I couldn't do that.
If I ever do sake, like I said, I always want to be at somebody's house. Because if I drink it and I'm about to pass out or I get drunk, at least I'm at somebody's house and I don't have to drive.
Yeah, for sure. Other than that, I was lucky enough to experience some, good home cooking. I was put in charge of appetizers. Now, this isn't something I would normally make, but I'm sick and tired of, if I'm put in charge of appetizers, no offense, there are plenty of great options there, but it's always a dip or a type of bruschetta. Like it's, that's kind of what you think about with appetizers. I'm like, I don't want to be basic. I don't want to make another dip. So I saw something on Instagram where you take a date and you deep hit the date. You put a walnut and feta cheese in there. You wrap it in puff pastry, roll it in sesame seeds, and you roast it. And there's just something about like the sweet and the salty and crunchiness that was so good. So that was the appetizer. And for desserts, my mom made these double chocolate caramel fudge brownies.
Ooh.
And my aunt made an almond cake with raspberries on it. And then there was your traditional fruit tart as well. So no shortages of sweets. So this was a good week to be on Snacktendo. It's all the good stuff that I have not been eating for a while. And just if you go several weeks, couple months without eating a lot of sugar or cutting out sugar, and then you have a day with nothing but sugar, you're going to feel like crap the next day.
That date thing sounds really good, though.
Yeah, and it's super easy. Like, because the Instagram video was like 10 seconds long. So you literally just date, walnut, feta, wrap, roast. So
Nice.
good.
Nice. Corey, what have you been snacking on?
Well, snacking has been just kind of, whatever. I've been trying to eat better. So I haven't really had any sweets or like junk food or whatever you want to call it. I basically used this weekend as like it's holiday food. So on Saturday I ate my mother-in-law's brisket, which was very delicious, and that was kind of like, it's not really like terrible for you, I guess. I don't know. It was delicious though, I gotta say. And she made like a latke, kind of casserole thing. And just kind of potato squares, and they were delicious. So I ate a lot of those. And then Sunday, when we went to Easter at my mom's, we had a breakfast, lunch, brunch type thing, and I ate a lot of quiche. There was ham and cheese quiche, and then there was green peppers and ham and onion quiche, and it was delicious. Had a lot of bacon and sausage and that kind of garbage, and it was delicious. That's all I have, though.
All right. Well, everybody, we're going to get into, hey, you, what's new? Take it away, Dad.
All right. There's actually not a lot coming this week, and nothing that really caught my eye. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. This is a 2008 game. That's coming to Switch on Wednesday, and that's for $19.99. Thursday, we get a few interesting ones. One is called Dragon Cafe, or Caf. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Caffi. But it's like this whole open world game that's hand drawn. It's really, really cool looking. And that one's for $29, and they're doing a launch sale for $23.20. I watched the trailers. It looked pretty cool. It was like an open world puzzle game, so I may give that one a go.
Looks cool.
Yeah, there's one called Orbit.Industries where it's you actually build a space station and you have a full 360-degree view from outer space. That one looked awesome too. That one's $19.99. And then Roguebook. This is a roguelike deck building game from the creators of Magic the Gathering. So if you like Magic the Gathering, that one's coming out on Thursday for $24.99. And yeah, that's kind of it. Did any of those catch you guys' eyes?
But I know the Star Wars Unleashed, that's the Wii version
Mm-hmm.
of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought that game was out already.
No, it can't. It comes out on Wednesday or Thursday or something. So
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Did PlayStation and Xbox get that other version?
I think they got the 360 and PlayStation version already.
Yeah.
They got it a while ago.
Okay. I think that's why I thought all three of them had dropped at the same time.
Mm-mm. Which I understand why they did the Wii version here, because it's the Switch and like obviously you can do motion controls or whatever. But man, the 360 version is so superior. And even in like the level this whole version of the game is different because they had to incorporate the motion controls and stuff. So, but this version does have a multiplayer mode in it that the other versions do not. So that could be cool, I guess. I don't know. I might check out Force Unleashed as well. I really, really liked that game when it came out, and I don't know. I think that game gets a bad rap now because it's old Star Wars and people like to crap on old Star Wars. But look, if you like Jedi Fallen Order and you want to see where most of those ideas came from, you should play Force Unleashed.
And it sold well on Wii when it came out.
Well, yeah, because it's a Star Wars game and the Wii sold 1 billion units. So
Now, I didn't play Unleashed 2, but
I never really played any Star Wars games.
Well, Dragon Cafe sounds interesting. It's funny because it's tempting to say cafe, but I actually own a game called Dragon Cafe, and it's not that great. But yeah, but honestly, I might just still save it because my big game that I'm looking for is next week, and I'm not gonna ruin your what's new Nintendo for next week. But we all know it's gonna be Switch Sports. Come on.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about El Shaddai.
Gosh, Ed, no, nobody likes El Shaddai except for you, Ed. Okay.
What are you talking about, Ed?
What? There's. Oh.
I played El Shaddai when it came to Xbox 360. Okay, it was not good.
Well, it has a niche following with them. That's why I was just kind of
niche
shocked
of people who like terrible video games. All right.
Well, it may be good. Who knows? I never got the chance to play it.
I feel a brown mustard conversation coming on. Let's move ahead before that happens.
Yeah. All right. Take it back, Ed.
All right, Corey, it's time for Question Block.
Yeah. So we have 2 questions from our community today. Remember, look for the tweet on Mondays if you want to ask us your questions, because we will be reading them live on Twitch and then on the podcast, obviously, on Wednesdays. You need to be there. Ask your questions. It'll be fun. Or you could email us at nintendopowblock@gmail.com, but nobody ever does because email is such an archaic way of communicating, obviously. Anyways, here we go. Deshaun Malone, longtime listener of the show, says, what franchise or licensed IP do y'all think Nintendo would do good at making games out of? Probably could have cleaned that up a little bit better, but that's okay. Sorry, Deshaun. I love you. Anybody want to go first, or should I go first? Because I have a thought.
All right, you go then.
Yeah.
Great. So, there's been a long rumor of the first 2 games coming to Switch in a remastered collection, and I really want a 3rd game in this series, and that is Epic Mickey. Epic Mickey is extremely... The second one's not very good. First one, extremely underrated. Warren Spector, who is credited in creating System Shock, Thief, Deus Ex. He led Spyglass Studios to make an awesome kind of like Disney history platformer with Mickey, and Mickey, you could like make choices in the game, and if you went one direction, Mickey would become more mischievous and wild and crazy and affect the world one way, or if you were like what everybody thinks of Mickey Mouse today, like good, cheerful, wholesome, whatever, it changed the world in a different way. And you had this paintbrush, which was like the main hook of the game, and you could like color things with the paintbrush and do like turn different things into different things and create new platforms and create new parts of the level with your paintbrush. It was really cool. It was really unique. And the second one was kind of the same thing, but it wasn't as good, and it was rushed out. Disney wanted them to put it out in like 9 months after the first one, which we all know how great games turn out when they're rushed. And the studio ended up closing, and I don't know. I just think that Epic Mickey was a gem of a game, and I would really like to see a third one. And I think Nintendo could really do something interesting because, I mean, Mickey Mouse kind of fits within their realm of things that it'd be cool if they did like a Super Mario 3D World style game with Mickey Mouse. That'd be cool.
Ooh, yeah.
You could go
That'd
through
be
like
fun.
different animated movies or his silly symphonies or a combination of both. Be cool.
And hey, there could be a multiplayer mode where you could, be Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy.
Funny
all
you
travel
say
together.
that. There was a cool multiplayer mode in Epic Mickey where the second player played Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, because that was... So, for you, quick Disney history lesson. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was actually the first successful character that Walt Disney made before Mickey Mouse. And it was distributed by NBC. And because Walt didn't read the contracts when he was signing it, when he created Walt Disney Animation, NBC kept the rights to Oswald until about the mid 2000s when Disney bought the rights back.
Huh.
And it's all about how Oswald felt abandoned, and Oswald is kind of like the bad guy, but only because he like wants to be accepted as part of Disney canon too. And so he goes and like kind of screws up all these cartoons and stuff, and Mickey has to go fix them is like the whole point of the game.
Ooh.
That's funny.
And so
Okay.
in the second game, the second player could actually play as Oswald, and you can co-op the whole game together, and it was really cute. The second game kind of is not very good, but it's a cute idea.
Nice.
I actually have my Epic Mickey Collector's Edition statue over here. It's just Mickey with a paintbrush, but it's cute.
I love that.
And it was cool because on the Wii version, they actually sold a Wii Remote and Nunchuck. The Wii Remote was the Mickey paintbrush from the game, and the Nunchuck was like a kind of... Oswald had this like box with a button that made things explode and stuff, and that ended up being the Nunchuck. So it was cool.
Nice.
That's my answer.
I have, it's funny. At first, I was like, I'm not going to be able to come up with anything. And now I have three, but like they're categorized. One is if Nintendo wanted to maybe take a slightly more mature step toward a game. One is more kind of like along the lines of Disney in their vein. And the last one would be just kind of like a joke suggestion. So one, since you mentioned Disney, because I wasn't sure, I'm like, oh, well, Disney, I don't know how the licensing would work. What about like, I think it's Warner Brothers. Do y'all remember the Animaniacs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think they could, maybe kind of revive something. It would never come close to anything Disney related, but, with all the silly cast of characters and it's very kid friendly, they could probably come up with, again, not to, cheat off of you, Corey, but either a Super Mario 3D World version of it or just like a nice little platformer. If they were, again, try to be kid friendly. If they want to do something slightly more for the mature audiences, and I looked to make sure there wasn't anything terribly recent, but I want them to do something really good with Godzilla. Like a good like pay homage to that franchise, because I just look at some of the titles that were released in the past and I'm like, no, I don't think so.
What would a Godzilla game look like?
I don't know. There's two ways to do it because they... This is not a good thing for me to admit, but I loved Rampage when I was a kid for the N64.
Oh, I loved that game.
Okay. So it's like, all right, well, what if you were playing as Godzilla and you could destroy cities? Which I know that sounds terrible, but because I love Rampage, I would think of that idea. But in all seriousness, I'm not sure if they could do just some sort of, I don't know, origin story or something. I don't know. I don't have it fully fleshed out.
Would you mix like Punch Out and Star Fox together to make the Godzilla game? So if you become like Godzilla and you're fighting another Godzilla, your gameplay is almost like Punch Out. But if you decide that you guys want to interrupt or a multiplayer, if they want to interrupt, they get into like their ship or something, and it becomes Star Fox or Pilot Wings or something like that to interfere. And then your game is that you guys stop fighting and you gotta destroy the ships now. So it's first person, and then like for them it's kind of like, I guess you can see how you see the plays, but then it goes into a 2D screen where now your bonus level is you gotta knock the planes out of the way and destroy all the people who jumped into your gang, so you guys go back fighting.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely another option too. I guess the other thing I could think about for Godzilla, and this is more about style and not what the game would be about, but I'm not super like. Anyway, let me just start over. I feel like Nintendo, being a Japanese company, would be able to do a really good job telling the story of Godzilla. Like, I'm not like super hard, like a hard ass about appropriation. Like Sifu being made by like a French developer, I think, and some people point out it was all a bunch of white people making a video game about Chinese martial arts. It honestly didn't bother me that much because they did a good job with their research. But with that being said,
I mean, you could point at Ghost of Tsushima too, being made by Insomniac, right? I mean, that
exactly right. So I'm not, like, even though that appropriate, like, I don't know, it doesn't bug me as much as it might bug some people, but I do think that Nintendo would just be, I don't know, it just, I feel like they would do a great job with it. And I almost kind of want, like, I think they do like a really good, like, Okami style art style, like give it something very different to Godzilla. Because I feel like if they try too hard to have like real life kind of graphics, it might come off as too cheesy. But if they do something with a lot of artistic style and getting into the history of what got that franchise on the mark in the first place, I don't know. I just think it would be really nice. And then the last one, this is just for S and giggles. And I don't think it really can be licensed. I think it was just made by a bunch of people. Anyone remember back in the early internet days, Homestar Runner?
Yeah.
I want them to make a video game on Homestar Runner.
Yeah. Wasn't that they did one on Wii also for WiiWare?
I don't know, but I just could see that as a silly, like, side-scrolling, I don't know, adventure full of nonsense.
Okay.
That's it.
Well,
I know that was kind of like all half drawn out, but
what about you, Dan?
Mine's gonna be kind of low hanging fruit. I wish they would take over the Crash Bandicoot series. I feel like that's a series that just kind of lost its way, like, as it went on. It's been through so many hands of developers, and it could use somebody to give it some actual TLC, and it'd be like, I think it'd be a great game back to its roots.
Okay. For me, I of course Sonic the Hedgehog. I think definitely take that, because I think after Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the series been going downhill.
Good one.
And I think definitely with Nintendo's various works in different art styles, level design, soundtrack, like with the music and stuff, I think they could really bring justice to the Sonic franchise. Like, I think they can make it so iconic and historic than what it is, because Sonic is a great series, and it is like kind of historic, but it has more bad history than good history to it. So I think Nintendo could fix all of that.
I think sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. I think Sonic is so relevant now, right? I mean, not that he never really lost relevancy, but like with like the Archie comic run and the couple cartoons that have been pretty successful in the past decade, and figures and like the movies obviously are great movies, right? And it's like the one thing that makes Sonic is the games, and they suck. It's like
And
Yeah, they
who's
miss
the
way more than they hit.
Yeah.
and who else to put it in the hands of one of the best platform developers ever? There's
Yeah.
no one competing against Nintendo when it comes to platforming,
Yeah.
whether it's 2D or 3D.
Yeah, and I think that, like, I think the last good Sonic game I played was Sonic Mania, and I think that's because,
Sonic Mania.
yeah, that team is so, like, their passion for those classic Sonic games is so, prevalent in their creation, and it's sad that studio closed because, Sega thought that, I don't know, 5 million units wasn't enough, so they closed them. Because, like, halfway through development, they bought the studio because they were making this game out of love. Like, they were going to release it as, like, a free thing on the internet. And Sega's like, no, we'll pay you to make it. Please make it good. And they made it good, and then they closed the studio.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Sonic Mania was the last great one. Sonic Forces was bad. Like, all the weird, like, Sonic Unleashed in 2006 and Sonic Generations was okay, but, like, the 3D levels weren't very good. And I just, like you said, Ed, I think they need to do something like New Super Mario Brothers, right? Where, like, okay, like what Sonic 4 tried to do was, like, okay, it's a 2.5D art style. It looks pretty. These levels kind of remind you of the old Sonic games, but there's also something new here. I think that's what Sonic needs to be. Just Sonic 4 really missed the mark, right? So
And this is one of the things that I think I enjoy Sonic when he is in motion and speed, when he's fully there.
that's
Yeah.
Sorry, go. I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. It's my fault.
When he's in motion, and I think one of the best things that a lot of people who may or may not remember is Sonic 2. Even his bonus levels in Sonic 2 are some of the best designed bonus levels in film. That's better than some of the modern games and everything. And I'm not trying to be shady to Sonic Frontier or Sonic CD or all the other games, but there's a point that, and the reason I bring up Sonic 2 is because that is a perfect example of how to make a perfect Sonic game. And I think where Nintendo succeeds in trying different things, they work on the quality getting it right. They try different ideas. They do a lot of research and development, seeing what works and what doesn't. When it feels like with a Sonic game, it's just like they try the new ideas, but the execution never works. And so it becomes something of that bad execution makes it a bad game. And even though there is a big community of Sonic lovers who will get a Sonic game to 1 million plus, they have got it to the point where they accept this badness from Sonic, and he doesn't deserve that. That series doesn't deserve that. I think if Nintendo came in and really just like, okay, let's look at Sonic. Let's try all of this. Let's try his jumps. Let's see what ideas. Okay, we could go back to the drawing board and get this. Okay, we're going to delay the game because we got some more ideas. Here's a nice level design. And I think Nintendo would take the time to bring the quality out. They're going to foot the bill with the money because they know if they could get a Sonic game to a 9.5, and make people actually talk about Sonic continuously, then Nintendo has done their job. Look, we still talk about the Super Mario games. We still talk from the NES days. That literally shows you how good quality that Nintendo has invested in. You can say whatever you want about Super Mario Brothers 2, but even that is a great game that people still bring up. So Nintendo would definitely take time to bring out a great quality Sonic.
You know what they should do if they ever did that? They should say, hey, look, I need you to make a great 2D Sonic game, but you should also throw Sonic Maker in there too and let fans make their own Sonic levels.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
Just package it all together. Don't sell it as two things, because I think people will be like, why did you package this in? Why is this $60? Blah. Package it all in. Sell it as one thing, let it go. Be awesome.
Well, it would just be a level design full of no enemies, and I'm here for it.
That's fine. I think an obstacle course style game would be the best for Sonic. I don't like. There's platforms out there where it's just challenging platforming. It's not. There's no enemies. I think those are some of the best Mario levels actually, where there's not a lot of enemies. Right? It's just challenging platforming, which I'm kind of going through with Super Mario 3D World right now. But yeah. Anyways,
that's a really good suggestion, Ed, and also Dan, like you too, with Crash, because there's some franchises that either were great or had some great times, but either they had a lot of misses as well, or they just weren't treated with enough respect over time. This is probably less so, but it made me also think of Spyro. But I think Spyro might come back now that there's been some changes around, and maybe Toys for Bob might actually be able to make Spyro games again. But if they didn't, that would be another platformer that I think they would ace as well. So I think that's a great area of suggestion.
Yeah.
Oh, I said also Nintendo, take the Double Dragon series. You need to beat them up. That's really going to be play well, and I'll talk about that when I get into playing with power.
Yeah, maybe this is a conversation for Crossroads to have, but I think that Toys for Bob is secretly one of the best acquisitions that Microsoft will have had in this Activision deal, because think of all the kid-friendly games that Toys for Bob could work on, not just Crash, because from what I heard, Crash 4 is actually pretty faithful to the original trilogy. But they could do Crash, they could do Spyro, they could do Conquer, they could do Banjo, they could do, Super Lucky's Tale. They could do all these things that Microsoft owns now. And yeah, that's all I have to say now.
Okay. What's our next question?
Oh, yeah, our next question. We have another question, everybody. 50, sorry, I'm making a time stay up there. Our next question is from Brad Melville, from a writer for Boss Rush Network. He says, if Smash Brothers were to get one last fighter pass with 5 fighters, including more recent releases, who would you want?
All right, I have a few.
Do it.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay. Oh, I had it written down. So I was thinking more of more recent games. So I have a couple, but let's just start with the first one that came to mind is, I know we have a lot of Samus variations, but I want Ravenbeak to be a character.
Ooh.
Please tell me he's not, right? Because I tried double checking the list.
He's not.
No,
Okay. He's so he's so cool. I'm trying not to cuss on the show, but I just think, his awesomeness would be almost Sephiroth level, maybe not to that point, but close enough. He would just be a very strong powerhouse. So I would love Ravenbeak. I don't get into these kind of games, but I feel at this point there should be a Lego character in there, because they came out with Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's been other Lego games in the past, but since the Skywalker Saga, wouldn't it be cool if there was a Lego playable character? Because they have Steve from Minecraft, they have the villager from Animal Crossing. So if they have a Lego representative, I think that would be cool, and maybe some Lego items that that character bring.
They could do that too, because they published Lego City Undercover, which they published it on the Wii U, and they also published it on the Switch. I know it came to other platforms later, but they have Lego in their arsenal, so they could technically do that guy.
There you go. And I have to show some love, because I was happy about Sora being the last fighter. Not that I really play Smash Brothers that intensively. You know how there's some characters that you can kind of switch, like Pokemon Trainer, you send in 3 different Pokemon?
Mm-hmm.
I want there to be a Donald Goofy switch. That would be so great.
That'd be awesome.
I wonder if they tried, and I wonder if that Mickey or that Disney price tag was steep. I'm surprised they actually included the Mickey Mouse head on the Keyblade.
Yeah, I figured that would be less likely than a Ravenbeak and a Lego character, but it still would be awesome, because you got Donald with the range attacks and Goofy with the defense and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know, because I read 5 on the question. I don't know if I'm really supposed to come up with 5. Since they're coming out with Shredder's Revenge, I wish there'd be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle somewhere in there. Any of them, all of them.
All of them. And Casey Jones. All of them.
Yes. And then last but not least, have a Breath of the Wild character, maybe Urbosa.
Urbosa would be cool.
Yeah, Urbosa. I'll just pick that. So
Queen, our diva.
Yeah, so like that'd be my 5.
I actually had on my list. I have the Breath of the Wild champions. That's just what I wrote on there.
There you go. Well, I mean, if you were to just personally, like, say all of the champions were available in Smash, like, who would be like your top champion that you'd want to fight with?
Urbosa.
Yeah.
I really don't, man. I really don't know because like they could all use different fighting styles. Like at first I thought they could just be echo characters of each other, but they're all so different and they all represent something different.
Well, Bertha, she got the fighter style. She's sassy.
Yeah, I know.
You know, she'll be like, "Ooh, come here," and then smack you with a sword, and then get her girls to beat you up and everything.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
I'll go next.
Great.
Crash Bandicoot. That's an easy one.
That's an easy
Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah.
Surge from Chrono Cross, since I've been playing that. Captain Toad, him and the pink Toadette, they can be like ice climbers, like one next
cool.
to the other. The Among Us avatar, little bean, whatever the hell he is, I think that'd be fun. And then as the secret 6th fighter of the pack, I would like to see Sakurai himself.
Ooh.
Yes, please.
I wish they would do that. I wish they would sell like even if they're just like me costumes of like the Reggie set or a Sakurai set or you know what I mean? That'd be so cool.
I just want to see Sakurai kick the shit out of people after everyone begging him for characters for
Right.
20 years.
Right? I love it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. All right, I'll go next because I have a list here. Knuckles, because I think like Sonic is really the only character from that franchise in there, and I think that Knuckles, like I know everybody wants Tails, and like that's fine, but I don't think Tails is a fighter, right? I think
I'm
think
Team
Knuckles.
Tails over Knuckles.
Really?
Yeah, I'd love to fly around with him.
Yeah. Man, okay. Well, let's just add all the Sonic characters in there. Sonic or Knuckles, Tails. Yeah, why not?
Big the cat.
Yeah,
Ugh.
Big the cat. Put him in there.
Okay.
Silver,
Shadow.
Amy Rose, Rouge the Bat. Let's get them all in there. The weird crocodile guy with the Australian hat that nobody really remembers his name. Let's get them all in there.
No.
So also this one is like near and dear to my heart, and I'm sad because he's a assist trophy. But Shovel Knight, I think, should have had some Smash representation in there. I also have all the other knights in there. Like I think Spectre Knight would actually be a really cool fighter too. Zelda champions, we already talked about them. Noah Lands from Xenoblade 3, I think, would probably be a good fit in there.
Okay.
So that's, I don't know if they would be like Shulk Echo characters or not, but that would be my choice.
Awesome.
Dixie Kong, I think, needs to be in there. I think she would be really cool as like a flying kind of character. Probably mimicking
Just
what
like
Tails would
Tails.
be like. Yeah. And then like just some third-party style things. I have a list of Assassin's Creed characters since all those games just kind of came out on Switch.
Okay.
Ezio or Connor or Edward or Altair. I think they would be cool. I think like generic Fortnite guy probably would,
Jonesy.
Yeah, Jonesy would be interesting. Just to, I mean, they have Minecraft Steve in there. They probably should have Fortnite guy, Jonesy. And then like the alt things could be like that weird teddy bear skin, or you know, all these, the banana guy, you know, all these things. So that's my list. Ed.
Okay. So mine is Travis Touchdown for No More Heroes, Beautiful Joe, Monkey from Enslaved, someone from Samurai Showdown, Dr. Roddy or Trombone from Mega Man Legends, Raziel from Soul Reaver, someone from Bloody War or Power Stones, and Blood Ray.
Grayson has some good picks in the chat too.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Grayson in the chat has Beautiful Joe, Ryu Habusa, Monster Hunter Fighter. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that never happened.
Yeah, seriously. Leon Kennedy, and maybe Buff the Dragon from Ring Fit.
Yeah. Buff the
Nice.
Dragon would be like a cool boss fight for like a story campaign thing. By the way, side tangent, I've been thinking about getting Ring Fit because Galatrad's been tweeting all of his workouts on, and I'm like, he's doing it, man. I should probably do that.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I'd use it. I think that's, I don't know.
Here's the thing. This is such like a whiny thing, given like what else I do for workouts and stuff. But Ring Fit, you jog in place, right? So it's still exercise. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I own it. Like I got it, so I'm not crapping on it. But I had really terrible calf pain the next day because when I'm a runner, it's still using different muscle sets instead of just jogging up and down. So just be careful with those calves if you do it. That's all.
You're getting calf workouts.
Yeah. No, but I love the idea, and it really gets my kid involved too with moving and stuff.
All right.
Well, Ed, back to you.
All right.
Then back to Dan.
Well, you already know what time it is. It's time for Femi News. Dan, take it away.
All right, Family News is mostly full of rumors. We'll start off with the big one. Analysts are now discussing that Breath of the Wild 2 are discussing if Breath of the Wild 2 can run on the Switch. So tech experts at Digital Foundry speculated that the sequel to Breath of the Wild might not be running on Switch, but a hardware more powerful. They're saying that they took a look at some gameplay trailer footage that Digital Foundry did, and basically they're saying that this game looks like it's going to be way too big, way too detailed, and just strictly from the trailers we've seen, it just doesn't look like it's running on the Switch. So we haven't talked about it much, or have we? But is the Switch Pro coming along because of this? Is it going to be, Breath of the Wild going to be another launch title? And the real question is Breath of the Wild 2 going to be so much bigger that it can't really fit on this? Stephanie, you're such a big Zelda fan. Start it off. What do you think of all this?
I will tell you, if it does launch on a new iteration of a Switch or Switch Pro, I'm going to be pretty mad because I bought the Switch OLED and I don't need another Switch. And Corey should know too because he has like 10 Switches. I don't need another Switch.
Whoa, I only have 3, okay?
But I can see how Nintendo can utilize, because Zelda series are very well known for using either alternative worlds or flipping things back and forth. Like there's time travel, dark world, light world, one type of universe than another universe. They're very good with like going back and forth between two different mechanics. So for example, just to speculate for Breath of the Wild 2, maybe like a major time travel might be the case. And he might go back 100 or was it 10 or 100,000 years ago to the original Heroes era. So they'll use my thoughts is that they might use the same map, but obviously the structures will be different based off of time. And I know there's the verticality with the islands. There might be some sky islands, whatever, or underground. But I don't know. I'm not good with the tech portion as to whether or not something might be too big for a Switch. Maybe I can pull Corey in to ask, like, for example, The Witcher is the first thing that came to my mind for a game that people would not think would run on the Switch. I don't know how big that world is.
It's pretty big, but it's also not one open world. It's a bunch of hubs that you can go into. And
is it kind of like Monster Hunter in that sense?
Well, see, I haven't played enough Monster Hunter to really know, but it does.
And I haven't played Witcher.
Yeah, and
No,
so
like
like
that.
the hub worlds are kind of like mini open worlds in of themselves, right? You can kind of go anywhere in these hub worlds, and if you want to go to like a different hub world, you open your map and you say, I want to go to this hub now, and then you can explore that hub. And each hub's like really large, and I'm kind of shocked that The Witcher ran on the Switch just because those hub worlds are so big. They did a lot of magic. You got to give it to Saber. I know Saber's going through a lot of trouble right now because it's a It's a Russian company, and a lot of people are kind of canceling contracts with them right now. CD Projekt Red just canceled their contract with them too, because they were doing the Series X version of The Witcher, and even though their headquarters are in Florida now, because they moved out of Russia to kind of get away from this, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. But Saber is a really great port studio, and the fact that they got The Witcher running on this is unbelievable. That said, The Witcher is not one big open world. It's a bunch of smaller open worlds, and there's no verticality.
Okay. So I guess the bottom line for me is if they use more of a going between two different places, like present day, I'm just making a present day and 100,000 years ago, I don't see size as an issue, but if they're also relying on verticality, which they likely are, hey, you know what? It also could be possible, because when did OLED come out? Last year, and this game's going to come out next year. It almost seems like there's a trend of the Switch getting some sort of updates every 2 years. So it's, I say 50-50.
But how do you, like, if you're talking about the verticality of Switch, like, do we know that the sky worlds are connected to the land worlds, or do you jump out of the sky and then there's a loading screen and then you continue your fall into the base world? You know what I mean? Like, is there a loading screen there? Because there is a lot of loading in Breath of the Wild. Like, when you go in every shrine, there's a loading. Like, when you fast travel, there's loading. That said, like, you can kind of go into the Divine Beasts without any loading, and it's pretty incredible that they did that on the Switch and the Wii U, right? I mean, you got to remember the Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U also. It's not like that console is very powerful either.
Well, yeah, and we all experienced the lag with just regular Breath of the Wild on the Switch. But hey, you know what? If they do release it on a new or improved Switch console, I hope they do away with a lot of those load times. Just get it all improved at once.
I mean, I don't think this game, I think there's too many Switches out there for them to not at least try to get this thing to run on this one, right? I mean, there are a lot of Switches out there. That said, like you said, there is a Switch upgrade every 2 years, and then we all know from the rumors and the reporting and stuff that the OLED one was supposed to be the upgrade. And now that with the rumors of Microsoft and Sony redesigning the chips for the Series X and the PlayStation 5 and possible redesigns of those consoles coming sooner than people probably want, right? Who says Nintendo's not doing the same thing? Or using an upgraded version of their Tegra chip, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? Of, that special chip that they use, there's a second version of it coming. So how do we know that they're not already planning that as well? So, I mean, I think it's very possible we get maybe not a 4K Switch, right? I think 1080p is perfectly fine for the TV, right? But what they could do is use that power that they would use for a 4K resolution and put it and kind of aim it into making the games bigger and better, you know? So.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this game is just going to be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Because, like, the game was supposed to be DLC. So they're using the same assets from Breath of the Wild. Like, we're working on like 3 delays now with this game where they already had the assets. So it's like they're doing something that's really, really big with this game, because the last time they used the same assets, it was Majora's Mask, and they pumped that out in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got 3 parts for this. And no, they're not. It's going to be on the current Switch. They're not going to have a Switch Pro or anything. People got to realize that this was for Breath of the Wild. This was Nintendo's first time doing Unreal Engine.
It's not on Unreal Engine. It's on a proprietary engine.
Right. But
so there's your first one done.
No.
Okay.
No. When they did. No.
This is brown mustard.
No. When they did. When they did Breath of the Wild, they said they was doing Unreal.
It's not on Unreal.
It's not Unreal Engine.
It's not.
Well, I thought, so
it's on a proprietary engine.
Did they change it? Because they said it was Unreal Engine.
No, they did not.
No.
They said they're using Unreal for their mobile games and for some of their other games like Yoshi's Crafted World and Kirby, and Zelda is on a proprietary engine.
So they took it off that. They
never started.
They never had it.
They never had it on Unreal Engine.
So why did they
Nope,
say they was
just
working with
continue.
Unreal?
Just
Yeah,
continue.
let's move on. Next one.
Move on.
So they're making this straight for Switch instead of porting it, and I think Monolith Soft and Nintendo has a better understanding on that Integra chip working on it, so they're able to create new assets while still improving on the old assets. So they have everything running smoothly with the quality on there. So I think that they got that all together. I think they probably been working on bugs to make sure that it doesn't have that 6-week program that they did for Breath of the Wild when they had to do it from Wii U to Switch. Not 6 weeks, I'm sorry, like 6 months from Switch, from Wii U to Switch. They had more time to study the system, flesh out more things, work out more bugs, and get the quality assurance up there. Last but not least, I think Nintendo probably, Anuma, I should say, I think Anuma took notes from Breath of the Wild and everything, and then finally addressed them so that they won't need a more powerful Switch. Definitely with the OLED, they probably was just like, okay, we can make the colors pop and look more beautiful. They probably been working on loading from land to sky. So there's going to probably be a transfer, and there might be like a cinematic that we'll probably see until we see more of that trailer and more of the gameplay breakdown of it from Treehouse or someone. We won't know fully what they're actually going for with that. But I think Anuma and the team really have been getting on that system where they could really work on that game, so that they wouldn't even need a new Switch for it. I think it's going to be running at 30 frames per second. It may be 720p, maybe 980, but I think everything is going to be looking so not perfect. Everything is looks so colorful and just working working well with the lighting, with the reflection. Link's movement when he's running, the action and everything. I think so much of that's going to be so smooth that you're probably like, man, I can't believe they're actually having this run on the Switch, on an old system or OLED or even the Lite. It's across the board the same thing. It may be different in handheld or undocked mode, but I think they're working on it to make sure that it's smooth across the board on all three systems for Switch.
Yeah,
where they don't need one.
I just want to finish my thought, and then we'll come back to that. But I was saying on that too, that front, that they are using the same assets. Like, it has to be so big, and I think that they actually want to be able to use more power with this game now. So with all these delays, I think they're definitely pushing back to have a little bit more powerful of a system to let themselves really expand on what they had before, because none of these delays really make sense without all of that kind of adding up together.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the time between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild was 5 years, right? And that was they created a new engine from the ground up for Breath of the Wild and created that game within 5 years, right? It's going to be 6 years by the time. I mean, and I know like COVID hit Nintendo a lot harder than a lot of other companies, it seems, but like still same engine, a lot of the same animations and assets, right? I mean, with new powers, they're creating new animations and stuff. I'm not denying that, but like a lot of the work has already been done. So what are they doing for 6 years? To me, this game is
question.
Yeah.
Because I don't know the more technical history, but what do you and this does not follow any logic, but the reason why I think about it is Nintendo doesn't always follow logic, right? What are the odds that Nintendo's gonna use Zelda as the same franchise to launch 2 systems in a row? Because they used Breath of the Wild to launch the Switch.
3 technically.
3 what?
3 technically, because they did the Wii, Twilight Princess with Wii also.
Okay, so like, so there is kind of a track record, I guess, because I was like, I don't know what the odds of them launching Switch with Breath of the Wild and then just making it up Switch Pro with Breath of the Wild 2. I would think like maybe they do a Mario or Bayonetta 3. I don't know. But again, that's not a logically sound comment. It was more like, what are the odds?
I think you want to show, if you're going to show off a new console, Zelda's the game to do it with, right? I mean, you could you can always launch Mario later and be like, oh, this is the greatest looking Mario game I've ever seen, right? But like Zelda, especially after the hit that Breath of the Wild was, like it's outsold every other Zelda combined at this point. It's like you want the sequel to that game. We already know it's bigger and probably more ambitious than the first game, right? With a new console. And that makes sense to me, right? And again, I think they're going to try to get it to run on the Switch, but they're going to have it running at a 1080p instead of 900p. They're going to have it running at a smooth 60 instead of a chugging 30, right? They're going to have like all kinds of like even like a draw distance type thing could affect this game where, right, when you're running through a Hyrule Field or whatever in Breath of the Wild, you're like, oh man, this game looks great. But you can see the grass start popping in. You can see the lava effects start popping in. You can see like the mining stuff and the trees and the animals start popping in as you're running. And so I think they want to eliminate that. And with the power, even a little bit of power of a new Switch, I think could totally just make that happen for them, no problem.
Right, because it
But
seems like they maxed out what they can do, like
Yeah.
with how big that world
I don't
is
think
in the
it's-
original Breath of the Wild. So, like, they can't go any bigger, right?
I really don't think it's about power because
It
I
is about power though.
But
They made one of the biggest games that the Switch could handle at
well,
launch.
yeah. Well, yeah, but I think that's why I said porting that. I think when you're porting a game, I think when you don't have enough time, I feel like that's the technical.
But they went through updates and optimized it, right? It's been optimized. You know, I mean, there was an update like 2 or 3 years after that game came out, and it was totally optimized, and it's still like, still struggling, especially when you like.
And but like I said, I think Nintendo, I think Illumina team was still learning that system, still learning how to develop
I get that.
for it.
I get that, but like they made DLC for it, they should have known the system by then. They put out updates after that. They should have known the system by then. You've seen other games come out since then that are Zelda related that, you know, they know the system. I understand what you're saying, but like it's Nintendo, right? It's not like they outsourced.
Well, yeah.
It's not like they outsourced the game. It's Nintendo proper that's doing this.
Yeah, and I think I feel like a Illumina team, definitely with some people from Monolith. So I think after Breath of the Wild, after all the technical stuff that they did, I think they got down to it and really started making sure that, you know, trying things, making sure that now that they know what they could do on that system, they could give it some better quality, so they don't have this problem for Breath of the Wild 2.
Anybody get any final thoughts on this?
I mean, I still think it's going to be on another console. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be on the Switch, right? I think that they have to, because there's going to be 115 million of those things out by the time this thing.
I don't think it's happening.
It's coming. Next story. Shin Megami Tensei has finally sold 1 million units worldwide. This was announced by Atlas just this morning. If you're listening on the podcast, we are recording Monday. The character designer Matsuyaki Doi has created a special illustration to celebrate, which is just like a really cool hand-drawn picture of the Nahobino. So I just thought this was really worth mentioning, considering Shin Megami Tensei, you know, it's the 5th game in the series. The best-selling one previously was Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the 3DS, and that sold at 600,000 units. But yeah, this is really cool to see. I like to see series kind of piggybacking off the success of the Switch. Ed, I know this was one of your top games last year. Are you surprised?
I really am surprised because the Shin Megami Tensei series is main series for that game. It don't really get talked about or that much love like Persona does. But to hear this number that it did 1 million on Switch, it's you know, that makes me happy, because now it gives kind of Sega and Atlas to be like, okay, before this game goes multiplayer goes multiple platform, if they decide to do it, they know that when 6 comes out, they got to keep it on Nintendo and make sure that it's not as hard or dragged out as 5. But
Yeah,
but know
5
that
dragged, man.
but but they know that they have a community of JRPG lovers from Shin Megami Tensei for the series on the Nintendo Switch or on the Nintendo platform. So, and I think it would get more recognition, more sales, if they stay on more on Nintendo. Because I'm sorry, if this was literally on any other platform, it would have just got ignored. The sales wouldn't be even at this number. And I'm not even mad that it took a long time to get to 1 million. I'm just happy that it hit 1 million.
Well, I think it's coming to PlayStation this fall. So I guess we'll find out there.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been ignored. I mean, given the success of Tales of Arise.
I mean, even you look at Persona, which is like the spin-off series of Shin Megami Tensei, right? I mean, Persona's huge.
That's what I said. I think Persona is more recognized on Sony's platform than Shin Megami Tensei is. Even Shin Megami Tensei, when it started on PlayStation, actually Super Nintendo, but in Japan, when it actually was on PlayStation, it just got ignored. It literally got more people been talking about Persona 3 and Persona 4 Golden than any of the Shin Megami Tensei games.
But Persona was ignored for a long time until it came to
Persona 3.
No, I would say Persona 4 Golden on Vita.
I would say Persona 3 FS, because that's when everybody started really getting into it.
I mean, I think that's when it started becoming popular, but I don't think that Persona was like hit where it is now until Persona 4 Golden.
I've never played any of the Persona games, but
they're fine.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm just happy to see any game just be absolutely successful and break the million units sold. So, yay.
All right. Next up, rumor. Another one. Evidence of Game Boy Advance emulator for the Switch leaks. So this one happened a couple hours ago. I haven't really fully looked into it, just because I don't know. I'm exhausted with this one. It's been like over a year of just Game Boy and Game Boy Advance coming to Switch. Corey, did you look into this at all?
I did a little bit. I went on Nintendo Life. I found a list of games that have supposedly been tested with this emulator, and I think that this is coming. I'm shocked that it didn't come before the Nintendo 64, to be 100% honest with you. But I think that let's see. I'm gonna pull up this. I sent it to our Twitter chat just on the fly, but there's probably
a lot of games I love on it.
Yeah, there's probably like 25 games on here, right? Like, okay, you have the Castlevania games, you have Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, which was probably going to be a must play for me, at least, because I never played that one. Golden Sun, which is something people have been asking for forever. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is on this list, which is kind of surprising.
Is that like a mainline Kingdom Hearts game?
It was the... So, in between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, Chain of Memories was the Game Boy Advance game that came out in between 1 and 2 and was like the connecting game to Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 that introduced Organization 13, which is like the bad...
The people in the hood.
Yeah, the hood people.
That you can't see.
So, yeah, I would say Chain of Memories is an important spin-off game if you kind of want to get to where, how Organization 13 came about and why Roxas exists and why Naminé exists and that kind of thing. So it sucks, though, because it's a card game. Like, the battle system is a deck-building card game, and I hate it. But the game itself is actually really cool. I love the pixel art in that game, though, is top tier. Awesome. Anyways, continue. Sorry. Dan got me on a Kingdom Hearts tangent.
Well, yeah, it was just the rumors, right? Of certain Game Boy Advance games being tested, right?
Mhm.
I kind of want to play like a Backstreet Boys song, Quit
Mhm.
Playing Games with My Heart, just while I'm talking about this, because, we've been hearing stuff back and forth about, like y'all said, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance. Those are kind of back and forth. Like, I remember hearing a rumor about Game Boy, Game Boy Color a couple months ago or something like that.
Mhm.
So I definitely am not going to put any stock into it because I don't want to be disappointed. But for me, it makes, quite frankly, a lot of sense for Game Boy Advance to be up next again, maybe
Mhm.
with plus or minus Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or at the different tiers. And I've said this once before. We're at the tail end of the once a month Nintendo 64 games. I think it'll end in June or
Mhm.
July. It ends around the time E3 would have happened.
Mhm.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's when it's going to be announced. They might just announce the next year's worth of N64 games. But I would think that once those end and around E3 time, there'll be a Nintendo Direct where they'll probably do, hey, here's the next line of N64 and introducing
Mhm.
maybe Game Boy Advance or Game Boy.
Here, my thing.
All right, now you sold me. Now I'm in. I'm all in.
My thing is I think that Game Boy is going to be on the $20 tier, and Game Boy Advance is going to be on the $50 tier. Just because it seems like Game Boy Advance is the one that everybody wants, and that's like, from a business side, if you're going to pay for the service, $50, you can get this too.
Was Minish Cap one of the games that were play tested?
Yeah, so let me finish this list real quick. Some of the heavy hitters here. We got Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Mario Golf Advance Tour, yes. Mario Kart Super Circuit, yes. Mario vs. Donkey Kong, March of the Minis is on here. Mega Man Battle Network, it says 5 and 2 are on here. Metroid Fusion and Metroid Zero Mission, yes. Mr. Driller 2, yes. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, yes. All the Super Mario Advance games are on here. Wario Land 4 is on here. Tactics Ogre Knights of the Lotus is on here. Dan, that's a U game for sure.
Yep.
And Minish Cap is also on this list. So all the heavy hitters are on this list.
Okay.
No Tony Hawk 2, though.
So there's only 2 more games for Nintendo 64. It's Kirby and the Crystal Shards and Pokemon Snap.
Yep. Something. Like, we don't know what it'll be, but they have to have something.
Yeah, because they really are building onto it. Okay, now you guys sold me. I'm good. All right, we're good. I'm all in.
Just to spin off this story real quick, Dan, there is also 2 major Nintendo leakers that said they are also running a Game Boy emulator, which is being done in-house at the Nintendo European Research and Development, who did the emulation for the NES,
The Game & Watch,
Super Nintendo, the mini consoles, and they also did the Nintendo 64 emulation for this, and the Mario 3D All-Stars emulation for that collection.
Okay.
So there's a couple users that have been
Good signs. Yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, if they're not going to do GameCube this year, they're going to do Game Boy. That's where I'm at. Game Boy seems easier to me, so they're going to do that.
Yeah. I would love to see GameCube, though.
Oh my gosh, don't tease me with that. Move along before I start banging my head against this desk.
All right. Well, that's it for the news. So, Ed, send us off.
All I can say is I don't believe any of it. I didn't get a chance to say
Yes,
my piece.
Ed,
so.
keep saying you
yeah.
don't believe it, because that's when it happens.
Yeah,
No.
actually, that'd be great.
Well, Ed, do you mean like never ever or just not this year?
It's
Like, never like Xenoblade 3, never?
It's not going. It's not going to happen. This year. Xenoblade 3 was an actual shock. I will.
Never
admit
like
that.
Splatoon 3, Ed?
What you talking about? Splatoon? I said Splatoon 3.
No, you said ARMS 2 would come out before Splatoon 3.
Well, yeah. When you said Splatoon 3, so that's why I was just like, I said Splatoon 3. It's just weird that those games they go in development and they show them so early, because you would think that they be working on something else that they want to present. and everything. Like ARMS, like I said, ARMS is still they have a community. It's just like that they didn't make an ARMS 2 for it yet, or working on it or something. But for the Game Boy stuff, I just don't think I'm not saying that it's not going to come out. I don't think they're focusing on that right now, especially when you got still Sega Genesis games that need to come out. You got the rest of the N64 and Super Nintendo and NES, and then some of the Famicom games, the import games that they could put out on those systems. So depending on the licensing, I think if they were going to do anything, they'll probably do like TurboGrafx or Neo Geo or something, or they might even talk to Sega and be like, hey, let's get some of your Saturn games, let's get some of your Dreamcast games on there.
Look,
like
Dreamcast I'd be okay with, but Saturn emulation right now is a hot trash fire. So it
is. But
why would anybody do Sega Saturn? Come on, man.
I if they could get Sega Saturn and running on Switch,
they already remade Sega Saturn's best game. Okay, it's Panzer Dragoon. Let's move on.
But don't you think
your takes are so hot tonight? I can't take it.
But do you think that would you think
I'm gonna have to turn my fan on?
Don't you think
my computer's about to blow up?
Do you think people won't be amazed that they got Sega Saturn running on Switch?
They would, because even the professional emulation community can't get it running. They can't.
But if Nintendo could get it running...
Nintendo can't even get their Nintendo 64 stuff to run. How are they going to get Sega Saturn to run?
I'm just saying that. What if they could get it running?
Then that would be great. But they can't. So...
I believe that they can. So that's we're gonna get into dark mode, everybody.
This episode's just gonna be called Hot Takes.
Ed's steaming hot takes.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, time for dark mode. Nintendo has delivered some iconic and historic gaming experience for decades. One of the reasons for it has been their hardware. As much as we love what these machines can do, the design of the console has become artistic. The design of these consoles has become an artistic expression, and I would love to know, Elite Block Agents, which console has the best design? Does that console have a great controller too? Are you ready, Elite Block Agents? Let's go! So we're talking about the best designed Nintendo console. We're not talking about handheld. We're talking about console. So we have the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the N64, the GameCube, Wii U, and the Switch.
You forgot the Virtual Boy in there, Ed.
Virtual Boy is part of handheld. It's not console.
What part of the Virtual Boy is handheld? Have you seen that thing?
Have you? Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Ed, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That thing is an ugly piece of garbage. I still want one. It's the only Nintendo console I don't own. So if anybody out there wants to donate one to the cause, DM me. My DMs are open.
Oh, wow. So we have those systems. I'm going to start with you, Stephanie.
Oh, goodness.
Which console you think Nintendo console has the best design? Not just the best system, the best design.
I don't know if we can take Switch out, because I honestly think that they've perfected the design in the Switch. I don't want to go for the easiest softball answer. Next to that, I know I'll pick this because I know it's going to be the unpopular decision, but I'm going with the Wii. I know some people do not like the Wii, but that's really set in motion, no pun intended, with what the Switch was going to be.
Pun was intended.
Super intended.
I don't know, I really, it felt good to have the controller and the nunchuck. Personally, I love how the Wii had this nice, sleek, rectangular size. I know. I mean, the motion bar, left much to be desired. But, given the time that it came out, that's all right.
I agree with you. I think the Wii is a really pretty console, especially the white one. You have it, you have the white one in the kind of gray kind of cradle, right? You see it, and the disc tray glows blue, and it's just really pretty, right? I mean, the other colors were okay. I really missed my white one. It's the only console, the launch console, that I don't have Like, I have all of the consoles I've gotten at launch except for the white
Nice.
Wii. It's because, well, my apartment burned down, but that's a story for another day. And it melted the Wii. But like,
Rest in peace.
I really like the Wii's design. I think it was really sleek, especially at the time when like Apple was becoming more prevalent and all their stuff was this sleek white, and Nintendo obviously wanted that to be their marketing thing, right? Because that's when they redesigned the DS also with the DS Lite, and it was white and very sleekly designed with the sleek stylus, and
Yep.
that whole just really.
Right, and I'm going by what you're outlining, Ed. Like, if I was to split my personal favorite console, would be N64, but I wouldn't say it's the best because, for example, remember halfway through they had like a different. I don't know if it's the process. Like, remember how like when Donkey Kong
expansion
64
pack.
The
came out?
rail card. The special pack?
Well, yeah, the expansion pack, like, that was a little clunky. I know I didn't mind the controller, but lots of people hated on the controller. GameCube had an excellent library. Some people liked the controller, but I just felt the box, I don't know, like design-wise. So if we're just speaking design and for what it set in motion, it's Wii for me.
Okay.
Nice.
Corey, what about you?
So I'm going to go a different direction here. So I think my favorite Nintendo console of all time, like design-wise, is the Super Nintendo, but the redesigned Super Nintendo. If you guys remember what that looks like, it is kind of rounded. It's just this pretty little box with a couple purple buttons on it. It doesn't have the slide buttons. It has two kind of round buttons on the side for power and reset. The eject button is really well hidden on that console. It's just a really nicely designed redesign, and I love it. I thought that was the Super Nintendo for the longest time because I never had a Super Nintendo, and by the time I was trying to decide if I wanted to get a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo 64 at the time, right? Like, that was the console that I was looking at. And so, man, that console is very pretty. I wish, like, if Nintendo ever made another home console, please don't. I love the Switch. Please make more Switch-like devices. But if they ever did, I would want it to look similar to that redesigned Super Nintendo.
Okay. What about you, Dan? What is the best Nintendo designed console for you?
I'm gonna go with this guy right here.
Oh,
The N64. I love the N64. Look at this thing. You could drop it out of an airplane and it wouldn't
true.
crack.
It's fair.
I mean, it kind of just sits well on your, on the old consoles, like center consoles. I don't know. I think the whole aesthetic of it just like looked cool. I loved having the cartridges pop out of the top. Realistically, I don't know. There's nothing else to it. I kind of just like the look of it. GameCube, I couldn't really get into the whole lunchbox looking thing. Wii, I don't get it with the Wii. I thought that thing was just like weird looking. And then, yeah, I don't know. I thought the Super Nintendo was pretty ugly too. Like, I don't think any of the Nintendo systems are particularly like attractive. Like, I think the best looking system is probably the PlayStation 4. But yeah, I'll go with the N64.
The George Foreman grill system.
I gotta say though, like if we're out, not that we're talking about other consoles, but I really love the slim PS2. It's just like this little thin square. Put your disc in, and it's awesome. I have a white one, and it's just I have the little stand for it. Stands up. It's just like kind of looks like a pre-Wii type console. It's really, I love it.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Well, for me, it's going to be the GameCube. I love that little square with the 4 ports. There's something about the ejection button when the top part comes out real slow, and you just see the inside, like this little mini disc being
Something
able to
oddly
hold.
satisfying about that.
Yeah, it's so cool, and then closing it like nicely with a great clasp and everything. Then underneath you can add the the Game Boy Advance player underneath it. So you can play Game Boy Advance games on your TV. I was just like, oh, that was so good. And just that handle was just so light to pick. If you're cleaning and, trying to get dust out, you could just pick it up, vacuum under it, get some. It was just so cool to be able to, like, put it in a book bag. And then the controller. The GameCube controller is still one of Nintendo's best controllers. The way that it fits comfortably. And I know people have a problem with the buttons and the C stick and all of that stuff, but hearing the top part with the clink, with the clank and everything, like that just felt so good. Playing, definitely when you're playing games and it's just so comfortable. Your wrists never hurt when you did it. And then the Wavebird.
Oh, the Wavebird, man. Okay, so timeout. If they ever put GameCube games on the Switch, they better sell some freaking Wavebirds. Like, they better have both. Okay, they better have some Wavebirds because that controller was awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
And then the GameCube being in different colors. Of course, we got the indigo with the purple, but that nice black GameCube, yes, it was just so it was just so good. Definitely with the black controllers. I had the black system, and I loved that system so much. And
remember
then
that orange one they sold in Europe?
Yes,
the jet orange one. Oh my gosh, I wanted one so bad, but they only sold it in Europe, and I was like, oh my god.
And then you got the small little memory cards that was like only $20. That would be like 64 gigs or something, or 32 gigs, and they hold like 85 games and stuff for memory. And it was just so compact and so fitting. And it was at the time where Microsoft's Xbox was a VHS killer. Like you could blunder somebody with that and kill them.
Oh my gosh.
PS2 became more for a DVD player and everything. Yeah, they had the nice little tray, and the Slim is nice. I will admit that, but there was just nothing like the GameCube was, and that's why I said outside the games and stuff. And the cords weren't even that back. Like you didn't really have adapter or anything. You just really like plug in the red, white, and yellow, and the other cord, and that was it. And then if you want to do online, it had the stuff for the modem that you could plug in, like for Fantasy Star Online. So it was a well-designed. Then I know for a lot of people in Japan, Panasonic did the DVD version of the GameCube.
That thing is ugly, though. That thing is so ugly. It looks like somebody modded the crap out of a GameCube and was like, it plays DVDs now. Might fall apart while you're on scene 3.
I really don't have a problem with it. I will say this. I do like it when it's in the dark and that blue come out, that nice blue.
You have to turn the lights off to enjoy an ugly console.
I mean, it does look kind of like a circus kind of item that belongs there. But I enjoyed the design for it. But the GameCube it's just so perfect. As like I feel like that's one of their best designed consoles that they ever made.
I have a purple GameCube and I really love it. I think it's like a really weird, awkward design, but like there's something really charming about just this purple box sitting in your entertainment center, right? I mean, it's just it's a clean design, like it's quirky. It's quirky like Nintendo.
It's very Nintendo, yeah.
And can I say, the fan in that system is quiet. You hear that, Sony?
If you play Nintendo games, if you're playing third-party games, you better like just have that thing dangling by a string in your middle of your living room because that fan is like gonna take off.
But my PS4 Pro, whenever I play a game, it sounded like an airplane was taking off in my room. I was like, what?
Yeah, when I was playing God of War on my PS4 Pro, I had to turn the TV up because I couldn't hear the sound. And then my wife would get mad at me because the sound was too loud. I was like, I can't hear. Do you hear the console? It's gonna set the house on fire.
Yeah, the GameCube was just like you get into the music, you listen to Mario Kart or Super Mario Sunshine dancing around, and the fan is just blowing with ease.
Yeah,
you just. I think the only time that I actually heard the fan was when I probably was playing Wind Waker, and that was when I was sneaking around trying to get to the top to fight that bird.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only time that I heard the fan, because it was just like, oh, there is a fan in the system. It's moving. But other than that, after you start that system up, I didn't hear anything. And it still has that great, even though this is like where I couldn't own the system, not the actual design, it still has that great interest. Announcing what the system that you're playing on. Like it's so cool.
And if you held the Z button, it made like the squeaky sound. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It just makes different sounds depending on what buttons you press.
That's awesome. But you know what I really love, guys, is that each one of us had a different answer, right? I had the Wii, Corey, you had the Super Nintendo, and Dan N64, right? And Ed was GameCube, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that a panel of 4 fans of Nintendo had different console choices actually is a compliment to Nintendo, stating that the majority of their consoles, if not technically all of them, really was its own unique work of art, and just there's a quality to each and every one of them, even though one, they're starkly different. They always strive to kind of conceive new iterations of things, and I think that's a big compliment to Nintendo.
Yeah. I also want to...
And also shout out to Vault Dweller 309 in the chat, who is also a fan of the N64 and says he's always been a fan of the cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
Cartridges last longer. You just blow the dust out and it works.
I would say the worst design system that Nintendo has made, sadly, is the Wii U.
Oh, no, I was going to say shout out to the Wii U because it's so elegant and sexy. I hate you. No, we're not friends anymore.
It looks like a long kind of modem.
It looks great.
It's
sitting right here on my desk.
I just want to piggyback off of what Stephanie said. Literally on the back of these Nintendo 64 cartridges, it tells you to not blow in this thing.
Yeah, they say it says it on the NES and SNES cartridges too.
Yeah, it's
Why does
hilarious.
it work though?
I will say, design-wise for
I never noticed that. Sorry.
Design-wise for the Wii U, the console is just a little bit. It's not appealing like their other consoles.
It's boring. Yes, I get it. It's boring, right? But they were also going for a updated version of what the Wii looked like, right? And which is like this nice kind of sleek square, fits in your entertainment center. It's just they just forgot to tell people what the console was.
Yes, I love the gamepad. I love the Wii U gamepad. Love.
Oh, gross! No, the gamepad's the worst part. By the way, I don't know if you guys can see my wonderful Wii U collection over here.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love the Wii U. So people have been listening to me for a long time. I hate the Wii. But I love the Wii U. I think the Wii U is the best console Nintendo's ever made besides the Switch. It is just... I'm glad everybody can experience the best games from the Wii U on the Switch now, okay? Except for the 3 that aren't there yet, which is Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Xenoblade X, okay? I get it, okay? I'm glad you can all enjoy it 5 years after I got to enjoy them. That said, I'm still playing Super Mario 3D World, and it's still great. Anyways, continue, Ed, sorry.
I'm just saying, from a design purpose, it's the Wii U. I really wish they, I don't know, did it ever come with a stand or something to make it like
it has
vertical?
It comes with a stand. It comes with like these 2 kind of arch feet that here. Hold on.
Arch feet.
I'm going to try to unplug all 47 octopus arms from my Wii U and show you. Okay?
Maybe because I played my Wii U.
These, if I don't know if you can see this. It comes with 2 of these, and one hooks into the back and one hooks into the front, and you can stand it vertically, and it just sits kind of like the Wii did.
No, I feel like the Wii U was heavily underappreciated. It wouldn't be my top favorite as far as, like you said, Ed, from like a literal design standpoint.
Well, it's okay to be wrong, guys. We're all wrong once in a while, except for me. It's fine.
I know some people will probably say it's that Wii that was in the red and black box that was just a little square that was only for Wii games.
Oh, the Canada kind of black and red one that they sold in Canada for a while. Now, they'd sold that Wii as a regular box here because I have a blue Wii that does not have GameCube support,
Yeah,
and it sucks.
they took it out. So if you have the white and the black Wii, you have the GameCube support. But if you have the blue one and all the other versions, you don't have GameCube
Interesting.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took it out.
I ended up buying the Super Mario Brothers Wii, red Wii, off of my cousin because it has GameCube support. And then when I opened it up, the flaps were missing, and that really bothers me that the flaps are missing. And so I never took it out of the box.
Oh, wow.
Stupid.
So yeah. Dan, do you have a worse system, console, Nintendo system?
Yeah, I think the Wii is terrible. I hate looking at that thing.
I think I'm the only person that loves the Wii.
I would say I love Wii design. I love it when it's in that stand. It was very sleek with it. It was very artistic.
I said I liked the way the Wii looked. I just hated playing the thing.
I don't think I have like a worst. I know that's like a cop out because everything is just so unique. It's like comparing apples to oranges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess if I had to say design-wise, it would be Wii U because it's like the only modern console I just didn't bother to get just by the way it looked. But that's a weak argument.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a great console. Otherwise, Corey, please don't fire me.
I do want to give a shout out to ugly consoles as the NES redesign is really ugly.
Oh, then maybe I'll pick that one. Let me take a. Ooh.
Actually, I actually prefer that over regular NES.
It looks like a terrible mouse pad that like somebody forgot to finish, like a mouse.
Yeah, my
It's
vote
ugly.
actually now goes for that. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah,
Yep, that's a winner.
It's super convenient though because it's a top-loading NES, and obviously you can see it. Like I put a picture in our chat, and like if you guys want to look it up, you can see where the Super Nintendo controller came from because it literally is a Super Nintendo controller just with an NES button configuration on it. But
I prefer the NES remake version over the old NES.
God, NES is just ugly. Okay, well we're just gonna cover them both under ugly. Okay. No industrial design whatsoever. They're like, you're ugly. You just work, and that's okay with me.
So, but everybody, that's gonna be it for Dark Mode. It's time for Play with Power. And I'm actually going to go first with this Play with Power because I finished Bloodstained and I got the bad ending. And I am still playing it because I kind of want to get the good ending. But I think it's lost its magic on me. It's just like, okay, this is a decent game, but I'm kind of bored of it now and I want to move on. Ended up playing Double Dragon, and man, I was just like, how did I ever beat this game and everything? I mean, I did the cheat mode and everything, but I was like using the rewind feature a lot to beat this game. I'm just like, was the hit detection really that bad in this game? And it literally is. Like, I don't know what the word, like that in Double Dragon 2, I was having troubles struggling, but I beat both those games as a kid and everything, but I was just like, man, the hit detection is like literally terrible in this game. And I think after playing like Final Fight and Streets of Rage and some of the better beat 'em ups, Technos, what were you doing with these games? Like, you know, I even playing like River City Girls and kind of, you know, I was just like, man, River City Girls is an amazing beat 'em up game.
It's one of the best beat 'em ups out right now.
I mean, and it comes from the same family from the Double Dragon games.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, man, I don't know how this hit detection was allowed. Like,
it was to eat quarters. That's why it was designed that way.
But this was the NES version. This
yeah,
was in the arcade.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
it's still like that's how NES games were designed.
The arcade version was literally terrible. You want to talk about bad frame rate? That thing was like 5 frames.
I think we can all just agree that Double Dragon was cool when we were little because we didn't know better, and now it just sucks.
Now Double Dragon 3 is just terrible and all. That's just surpass questionable concept. It's utter garbage. But I last but not least, I did play Contra Hard Corps on the Sega Genesis 'Cause even though it's in the Contra collection, I played it on the Sega Genesis because I kind of did need the rewind feature with that. Because I've never been in that game, and I don't have no problem using the rewind feature. I actually uh like it, and if it helps people get through games, that's completely. I mean, I think that's awesome. I know I had to replay it because some of the choices that I made led me to different. Is going to lead me to a different ending. But I really did enjoy. I really did enjoy Contra Hard Course. It is a tough Contra game. Um, but I definitely enjoyed it. I had kind of really had a big retro kind of weekend with gaming. Besides Bloodstained. But I did pick up some things. Then I am gonna start MLB The Show because I know you are definitely enjoying it. I literally just been so busy with work. And so I'm definitely going to end up starting that game probably like Wednesday when I could just be away from work, not cut my phone off, but cut it on silent because I know I'm going to get some text. But just like I just need a day to get away and literally play some video games. So I think I'm gonna start MLB The Show that Wednesday because I really want to play. I was watching a video. I think you posted a video of your playthrough, Dan.
Yeah, I posted a couple of plays on there.
It looks really good and really smooth. And I'm like, oh, this game is. And I know people had their doubts and laughing at it, but I just been hearing great things from the Switch.
I had my doubts, and it's like it's been so smooth and flawless, and the online surprisingly really really good. I used to play the show 5 or 6 years competitively. I would build my team up to have all 99s, and I would play online and be in the upper echelon. That was the only competitive gaming I've ever done in my life. And it's the Switch version is so smooth. I'm like, damn, I'm getting sucked back in. I might be doing this again.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it. I cannot wait to dive in. But that's pretty much what I've been playing. I did pick up Final Fantasy 12. It was only $15 for Switch physically at Best Buy.
Oh
yeah,
man, I wish I knew. I love that game.
I know Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 was also $15. I tried to jump on that and it was sold out by the time I got there.
Yeah,
oh, no.
It's the same thing. I tried to do that also, and it was and I did buy some games for it, Switch, but that's for another day. But that's pretty much what I've been playing. Just getting ready to start my backlog season before we get a whole bunch of gamut of games for the summer. What about you, Corey?
I've been playing Super Mario 3D World. I 100%ed the first 8 worlds. I am making my way through Rainbow Road or Star Road or whatever they're calling it. It's
Champions Road?
Yeah, Champions Road. Thank you. It's that game is a masterpiece. I don't really care what anybody says about other 3D Mario games, right? This game it's the best. It's the most fun I've had, trying to really, because it's been a while since I've tried to 100% a game, right? And Champions Road is really hard. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. It's super hard. I've found myself playing through the levels 3 or 4 times to get the stars and the stamps, but it's just a joy to play. It is so fun. It's the movement is flawless. The platforming is flawless. The suits are all really well designed. I always want to use the cat suit, but also you have the Tanuki suit, which allows you to glide, or you have the Fire Flower, which is really cool, or you have the Boomerang suit, which allows you to get stuff that's super far away, and that really helps especially in Champions Road, when some of the stars are kind of hovering out over the middle of wherever, right? And so I'm just having a blast. I love this game. If you haven't played it, whether you played it on Wii U or played it on Switch, I highly recommend you get it. So that said, I think this is going to become my secondary game now moving forward, because I did the first 8 worlds and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. But Champions Road, like even if you play one level of that and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to put this down. This is just hard. So I am also playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Nothing really new to say there, but like Ed, I'm kind of prepping a list of backlog games to play over the summer. And the first 2 games on my list are Link's Awakening and Captain Toad to finish up those
Nice.
games.
Those will both be easy, quick ones to finish too.
Yeah, I got through the first 3 dungeons of Link's Awakening, and I really liked it. And then I think I got sucked back into Destiny because an expansion came out a month later. So I put it down for that, and then never went back. And I'm really upset that I did that. But yeah, I think Link's Awakening is probably going to be my next one. And Captain Toad. By the way, the Captain Toad levels in Super Mario 3D World are just awesome. I'm so glad they made a whole. I'm so glad they made a whole game out of those stupid levels.
It's so. I remember that game when it literally came out on Wii U. It was like the top. It was like the video game for the weekend, and people were beating it with ease. But like, it was only $40, and
Yeah,
like people were having so much fun with that game. I enjoyed it.
It's just a fun game.
yeah,
It's so good.
yeah. So good. So that's all I've been playing though.
All right, Dan, what you been playing with Power?
We already talked about the show a little bit. I've kind of built up my Diamond Dynasty team a lot, and I've chipped in a little Mario Golf here and there. I was getting my Yoshi skins for the month. I'm still getting my skins every month in Mario Golf. And Chrono Cross, I'm still making my way through that one. I'm probably halfway through the game now, I'd say. And then I'm still dying in Elden Ring. So
Still dying.
oh yeah, I will not survive. And yeah, it's a game I kind of just rage quit and like go back 2 days later and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to die again, and then I rage quit. Maybe one day it'll click. Maybe.
That's what all bad relationships sound like, Dan.
Yeah, this is definitely a bad relationship. Very much so.
All right, it's Stephanie. What have you been playing with Power?
Not much, but since it's been a while since I was on the show, I guess the one game I have been playing, so to speak, is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's slow going, but I love that game. Kirby is not
so
one of my
fun.
yeah, it's not my favorite franchise, but damn, this game just changes everything. So I love
wait
it.
wait till you get to the end. Woo-hoo-hoo. Man, me and Grayson, we have like turned into like little girls talking about this ending, this fight and this ending, because you are going to be like, oh, who thought this game was easy for kids? It's out there. It's so good. I can't say anything.
Nice. Good. Yeah, so that's been kind of it because as I've said in other shows, I'm trying to finish my 5th book. I want to get that stupid book written, so I've kind of put gaming on the back seat, but once that's done, I will complete Kirby. I want to complete quote unquote Pokemon Arceus because I'm on like the last Guardian, and it's going to bother me if I'm close to finishing the main story of a game and I stop. And then it was either through limited run or special reserve, but I ordered a Switch physical copy of Death's Door, I think, with like a couple of
nice.
Special reserve.
Yeah, collectibles with it. I think like an art book or something. So
Yeah.
that might be my first backlog game for the summer. That's my intention.
So that's I'm still waiting for my copy to come in because I did.
Yeah.
I think it was like $80, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be end of April, right? So it's soon.
I hope so. Yeah, I got that on back order. My Icon Fail from Limited Run should be coming, and I got to talk to Jesse about his Ori and the Blind Forest book, art book.
So there's that, and I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm hoping the Indie World Showcase will be on Thursday or next. It's got to be in the next couple weeks. Like it's got to be coming, and I want to be able to fill up my indie wish list.
It should be coming, right? I feel like there's always one around this time.
Yeah, it was
I think we'll probably see some announcement tomorrow for them to release it on Wednesday.
Actually, last year it was in May.
Was it? I know the year
Yeah.
before was April. Damn it. All right, fine. Grr. Anyway, that's it.
Not saying it can't happen this month. I'm just thinking. I think I
Yeah.
remember last year it being in May, like right before E3 was
E3.
happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, everybody, that's going to be it for Nintendo Power Block. I want to thank you, Corey. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Dan. Just to give you guys a head up, I would not be here next week hosting the show. I am going to be in King's Cooper Castle doing some more renovations. He liked my work for last time that I was gone. Even though we as the crew, we stopped King Koopa and Ganon from getting into some nasty mess. King Koopa, he's still a cool dude, still needs my help adding some stuff. We're actually making a special Mario Kart 9 track, so it's going to be very exciting. We can't give the full details, but just let you know we're designing something together. So I won't be here next Monday. So if you guys don't, just in case you guys were wondering why you guys don't see or hear from me, it's because I will not be on the show. I have another project that I have to do with at the Koopa's Castle.
It's fine. Dan and I hold it down.
So, but Stephanie, where can we find you?
Oh, people can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Klimov, KLIMOV_author. You'll see me Wednesday nights co-hosting the Boss Rush podcast. I'm also on After Dark and Standard Definition with the Disney episodes.
Okay. Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can also find all of my great articles on www.bossrush.net.
Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast. You can find me on Standard Definition, and
you guys can find me on Twitter and at Instagram at that retro code. You can find me hosting Nintendo Pop Block and Nintendo Expansion Pass, and also Optional Opinion and other projects. I also write for Boss Rush Network and doing some other things at in the coming months. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, you guys join us on Patreon and become a Patreon producer. And also, if you want to get a copy of Nintendo Switch Sports, enter our contest. There is a big chance, hopefully, that us as as a Boss Rush community could come together next Friday and actually get online and do some bowling. I would love to be playing the game with you guys, so hopefully that will be able to happen. But that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!